It's the end of human history as we have known it for thousands of
That's
years.
quite big, Yuval.
For thousands of years, we lived in a human world in which all the decisions, the key decisions, are made by humans, and all the big ideas, whether of finance or religion or politics, they are ideas
So
coming
don't we
from the
just
human
take
mind.
ourselves out of existence at that point? I mean, isn't that the logical
We're
conclusion?
plugging ourselves into the machine, the pleasure machine. And just
it
saying,
will be more. At
will
least the
happen, will
transition period is much more complex, because you will have billions of human beings still making decisions and coming up with new ideas, but we will also have billions of AIs making a lot of decisions and coming up with a lot of new ideas, and we don't know how the interaction. And AI is not one big computer. We need to think about it as millions and even billions of digital agents everywhere.
When I tell you what I ran across or what was given to me, because at this point in time, I want to be clear with y'all. I don't know this information. So for some reason, people think like I'm this savior or you helping the people. Man, I'm going down this rabbit hole. You going down this rabbit hole with me. There's certain things I do know. But this that we going down right now, I ain't know all this. I knew this dude existed. I knew he was a weirdo, but I ain't know this dude was on this type of stuff. I'm going to keep it real. Like, I knew he said he was going to have an AI Bible and that people didn't have free will. But this dude here is next level. And I need you to understand, I'm going to show you how he's next level. And on top of that, I'm going to show you how they playing everybody. Now, it's clear that they made public disclosure because they tell you how they're going to do you. And that's literally what they bout out here in these streets. Now, I want to address one more thing before I move on. I'm going to get a few comments from people saying you talk too much, you talk over the video. You lazy, dirty, sandy beach. Go find a video of your damn self. What's not going to happen is I'm not about to get a copyright strike so your lazy behind can watch me watch a video. How crazy is that? You want to watch me watch a video and not comment on a video. Carry your lazy behind over there and find the video yourself. You dirty, lazy, sandy beach. You heard me? That's crazy. You want to watch me watch a video. What kind of crap is that? But that's what y'all be doing out here in these streets. Dude put himself in a corner over here like this, and he just sit there and watch. Don't say nothing. He'll interrupt every few minutes. That's lazy. That you gonna watch another man watch a video, he ain't got a damn thing to say. Man, look. See, y'all about to make me go Sam Jackson. Anyway, let's get back to King Lizard. King Lizard, we heard what he said yesterday. We heard all the stuff he's been talking about. Watch this. I'm going to skip through. This is King Lizard on 60 Minutes, right? But I'm going to skip through. We established what King Lizard believes. If I need to reiterate it to you, he believes that he's God. He believes that you have no choice because you're hackable as a human being or as an animal. He believes you're an animal. Then he believes you're a hackable animal and you have no choice on what you eat or who you vote for, right? We've established these things out of this man's mouth. Basically, and also we've established that he believes we won't need as many humans or as many animals, okay? However, once you see where he went and what he did on the CNN interview, you're going to understand why I've been calling this a lizard person. Everybody's, oh, there's no such thing as lizard people. There's no such thing as lizard people. You're crazy. Watch this.
Yuval Noah Harari published his...
Now, we heard him say this, right? We all heard him say this. Well, we don't need to go over this. What we need to do is fast forward. Here we go. Now, let me say this. This is on 60 Minutes, and that's CIA Cooper, right? Now, imagine for a moment. Interviews just don't happen. These things are planned out, right? It's not like Jabari just decided he's going to pop up over there. Yeah, I'm going to roll up. We're going to do an interview. So everything that you see is staged. Everything that you see is staged. Everything is intentional. Now, the camera makes it seem like it's unintentional. The verbiage and the brainwashing makes you feel like it's unintentional. But keep in the front of your mind, these men are saying and doing these things on purpose. Therefore, you can surmise that where they go is intentional. I'm going to make sure you understand this. I'm going to repeat myself. Some people say, oh, you repeat yourself too much. No, you dirty, sandy, monkey beach. I repeat myself because I want people to understand what I'm saying. Everything is intentional. Therefore, if there was intention put into creating the interview, intention in him, a traveler or whoever traveled to wherever, assume that CIA Cooper traveled to where he is, which makes sense. Everything is intentional. Everything is discussed. Watch this. He's a history professor. A history professor. A history professor. He took them to an archaeological site called Tel Gezer. In the Bible, there were places, high places. If you remember when Jesus went into the wilderness, Satan took him up to a high place, took him up on a mountain. High places where people made sacrifices and worship. So he takes Anderson Cooper to Tel Gezer. Pause, stop right there. Switch videos so you can understand when I say this man is a lizard, a mini little lizard bastard. Watch this.
To the British archaeologist Stuart McAllister began excavating at Gezer. On the Acropolis of the site, McAllister noticed that there was a row of stones whose tops were protruding through the ground. And so he began excavating the area and unearthed 12 standing stones in a row. And next to them was another huge stone with a flat top and a basin carved into it. And as he was excavating this area, he realized that he was digging a Canaanite high place where the ancient inhabitants of the city had worshipped their gods.
I'm gonna rewind it. Did you see what the gods that the Canaanites worship look like now? Some of y'all don't read the Bible. I understand that. I understand where you are. Some people hurt. They lost a mother. They lost a father. They're mad at God. They don't want to read the Bible. Hey, bro, may the Lord reveal it unto you. I'm talking to people who got an understanding and people who want to understand. I'm going to rewind a little bit so you can see this. We didn't even get to that. Here we go. Make it big. I'm going to make it full screen.
Top and a basin carved into it. And as he was excavating this area, he realized that he was digging a Canaanite high place where the ancient inhabitants of the city
had worshiped their gods. What the hell does their God look like to you? You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what the hell I'm saying?
Their gods. Now, what McAllister found next around these standing stones is deeply disturbing. However, it shouldn't be surprising because it was evidence for a Canaanite worship practice that is described in the Bible.
What did the Canaanites do as worship in the Bible? What did they do as worship in the Bible? Anybody know? And this dude, I think he gonna break it all down. I don't really want to jack that man video, but I'm gonna let it roll because I think it'll allow me to not have to really talk about it too much. But what did they do? What was the Canaanites known for doing? Ain't it funny? When you keep it all in context, Lizard Man, when you go back when he was having an interview with the lizard girl, remember we saw that smile on their face, how they listed out the old people are isolated and the children are isolated as well. Keep everything in context of all of the series of videos. Let's jump back 3-4 videos where we had the weirdo doing like this. And we're studying children, and a child's cry doesn't mean what it means. Inhuman children, a bunch of dirty, sandy beaches. By the way, I'm developing new ways of cursing without cursing. I'm telling you right now, a bunch of mother fluffers, low down, dirty mother fluffers is what they are. You heard me? So, for those of you who understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. Those of you who don't have no understanding, may the Lord reveal it to you. Let me go back to what my man was talking about. Mother Fluff is telling me I talk too much. Mother Fluff, you.
digging a Canaanite high place where the ancient inhabitants of the city had worshipped their gods. Now, what McAllister found next around these standing stones is deeply disturbing. However, it shouldn't be surprising because it was evidence. The city of Gezer is mentioned in the Bible several times and is located in Israel between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Nearby was the skeleton of a described as being filled with a great number of bones. Stones are. So in his excavation report, McAllister found a pit which he described as being filled with a great number of bones of human beings in a confused heap. And nearby was the skeleton of a young girl who had evidently been sawn asunder. She had been cut in half. And found along with this the skulls of two other girls who had been decapitated, and this could be determined because of the cut marks through the vertebrae. And then McAllister says that all around the feet of the columns, that is the standing stones, McAllister discovered the skeletons of young infants. They were deposited in large jars, and the skeletons showed marks of fire. Started finding all over the place here around the base of these pillars jars with burned human babies inside of them. Okay, and this is from his excavation report. You can see the skeletal remains of a
But this thing on the ambassador is crazy. And lizard people don't exist. And this is where this man took him to for the interview. Let me go back. So Harari took him to a Canaanite high place. Anderson Cooper and Harari went to a Canaanite high place and stood where the bodies of the children were. You understand where they stood where the bodies of the children was? The children. As Pastor sit down here. The children. You understand? Live on TV. But when you look at it from an outside perspective, oh, they just did an interview. But they just talking. Took him to a Canaanite high place. Therefore, transported you there as well, who was watching the 60 Minutes interview, took you right to the spot, told you everything you need to know about what he believed, disclosed it all to you in front of your mother fluffing face. Bruh.
baby inside of the jar, buried ritually. Not just buried, but buried ritually. Now, how are they buried ritually? They're buried in a place of sacrifice, in a sacred place of worship. In his excavation report, McAllister made a plan of the high place from the perspective of looking straight down on it. And then on this top plan, he marked with the letter J everywhere where he had found these infant jar burials. Look at all the J's, J, J, see all the J's? Jar burials with not just baby bones in them, burned baby bones in them. Okay, this is about a 7-year-old girl that was cut in half. You can tell, by the way, when they're cut in half.
All right, Ruai telling me I'm going to get in trouble for that. But back to what I'm saying. Listen.
Maybe
this is what this man did.
We are faith.
This is what this lizard person is telling you. This lizard man is telling you who he is and what he is. You see what I'm saying? And it makes all the sense in the world that he would be a little frail, skinny, 5 foot tall, less than 5 foot tall being that comes up with all these plans. Now, the reason why I'm not playing the sound is because literally we've heard what he had to say. I just wanted to make sure you understood when I call him a lizard person, I do mean it. Now, I don't know what else to tell you, but we're going to move on to the next thing. So I'm coming back with the next thing. And I'm going to tell you, it gets even more freaky. But to set it up, I'm going to say this to you. If you go back and you listen to what he said, in fact, no, we're not going to do that. I'm going to show you this. Remove that. Because that's the one thing about us as people, we got to see it. Because if not, I'm crazy. If we don't see it ourselves, I'm crazy. Watch this.
Ideally, you have people forming up opinions and desires and then voting for a government that represents them. But we know it works both ways. The government has enormous power to shape the opinions and desires of the population, and this power only increases today with the new technologies of surveillance, mass surveillance, and social media, and so forth. So when the government the government is not just responsive to the will of the people, it can shape the will of the people. And this really destabilizes the democratic system. Also, an enormous role to play in this. That if the government has too much control over the media, then it's not like people are forming their own independent views about what's happening. We now have the power, or at least not we, but some governments and corporations for the first time in history have the power to basically hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, hacking smartphones, hacking bank accounts, but the big story of our era is the ability to hack human beings. And by this I mean that if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible. And in such a situation, the old democratic system stopped functioning. We need to reinvent democracy for this new era in which humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
All right. I wanted to get to that point. And I want to make sure you understand a couple of things. So the concept of spirituality and humans having spirits. And first of all, let me show you. Look on this man's face when he says this. Look at the devotion to the words. You see them eyes? That's sociopath, psychopath eyes. That's John Wayne Gacy eyes. That's Hannibal Lecter looking at you right now. You know what I'm saying? That's who that is. That's Hannibal Lecter looking at you. That's homeboy at the top of the well. It puts the lotion on his skin. It puts the lotion on its skin. Put the lotion on your skin. Put the lotion on your skin. That's what that is. But that ain't what I want. That ain't what I want to talk about. Watch this. So the two things he just mentioned, when you look at them truly, it's a formula for seeing when the lizard people are going to attack. Because he just pointed out the two things that are of interest to him. And the two things that he has to prove to us animals, we no longer have control over. The first thing was your elections. The second thing was your food. So if I'm a general watching intel videos on my enemy, and I'm looking at him, and I'm watching what he say, because I know this mother fluff was my enemy. Ain't no doubt in my mind this mother fluff was my enemy. He's sitting there telling me I'm an animal, that I ain't got no choice, that what I say don't matter, that God don't exist, even though he went to a Canaanite high place where they made sacrifices to children, letting you clearly know that he knows that there's a spirit realm that exists, but that don't matter. I know this mother fluff was my enemy. And so I start to look for the circumstances and conditions under which he can prove what he's saying, under which he can exercise what he wants to exercise. And I say to myself, self, this dirty sandy beach need two things to make a point. The dirty sandy beach need an election, and the dirty sandy beach needs something that has to do with my food. Oh my goodness. Is there one of those things coming up soon? 2000 November? Yeah, they got one of those coming. So we know that's coming. Then I started looking for the other thing. Oh boy. Oh boy, when you find the other thing. Oh boy. All right, matter of fact, I'm coming right back with the other thing. I'll be right back. Don't worry about it.